Make money faster than winning the lottery with 7 no-capital strategies used by the wealthy. Welcome to Book Summaries, where we share unlimited knowledge and secrets to achieving success and wealth. In today's world, many people mistakenly believe that to get rich, you need a lot of capital or must rely on unethical methods. However, the reality is that the secrets of successful people are not about theft or deceit. They lie in intelligence, creativity, and knowing how to seize every opportunity. Today, we will explore 7 no-capital wealth-building strategies that the rich have used to build and multiply their assets. These strategies are not just simple tips. They are proven and refined strategies tested through years of experience and practice. You might wonder how it's possible to get rich without capital. This is the key point we want to share with you in today's video. Before we dive into the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share to support the channel. Thank you very much. Lesson 1. Learning to share wealth. A poor man, seeing the rich spend their days leisurely while he worked hard and remained hungry, thought that God was unjust. He cried and pleaded before God, demanding fairness. God smiled and asked what he needed to feel things were fair. The poor man quickly replied that he wanted the rich to become as poor as he was and to do the same work. If the rich remained wealthy after that, he would no longer complain. God nodded in agreement. Then, God turned a rich man into a poor one and gave each person a mountain to mine coal from. Each day, they could sell the coal they mined to buy food, and they had to clear the coal mine within a month. The poor man, accustomed to hard work, easily mined a cart of coal and sold it for some money, which he used to buy good food for his family. On the contrary, the rich are not used to heavy work. After digging for a while, they take a break, drenched in sweat. By evening, they barely dig enough to fill a cart, take it to the market to sell, and buy only a few buns, saving the rest. The next day, while the poor get up early to continue digging coal, the rich go for a walk in town. Before long, they bring back 2 strong poor men who don't say much but start digging coal for the rich. The rich stand by giving orders, pointing fingers. In just one morning, the rich direct the 2 poor men to dig several cartloads of coal. After that, the rich sell the coal and hire a few more people. In the end, not only do they pay the workers' wages, but the remaining amount of money they have is many times more than what the poor make. A month passes quickly, and the poor have only dug a corner of the coal mountain, earning just enough money to buy good food each day, with almost nothing left over. Meanwhile, the rich have hired people to clear out the entire coal mine, making a considerable amount of money. They use this money to invest and do business, and before long, they become wealthy again. The poor stop complaining. A book about financial freedom once said, "Your wealth does not come from diligence alone, but from the way you think about making money." The rich can become wealthy not just by luck, which plays a small part, but most importantly, it's the mindset. When you know how to expand your thinking and use money to generate more money, you can truly achieve financial freedom. Lesson 2. To be rich, you must learn how to borrow money. This story is a condensed version of the experiences of millions of entrepreneurs worldwide, regardless of their industry, who may see themselves in it. There were 4 young people, named A, B, C, and D, who all wanted to start a business to get rich. Each had a capital of 500 units. A saw that the egg business seemed attractive and decided to buy a hen for exactly 500 units. A was very diligent, and thanks to his meticulous care, the hen laid 1 egg every day. Each egg could be sold for 5 units. In 1 year, the income from selling eggs was 1 times 365 times 5, equaling 1825 units. B was also interested in the egg business and inquired with a farm owner about the cost of renting a hen for a year. The farm owner said it was 100 units per year. So, B rented 5 hens and took good care of them. B's annual income from selling eggs was 5 times 365 times 5, equaling 9,125 units. Although B did not own the hens, his annual income was 5 times that of A. Therefore, when young, one should carefully consider the difference in costs between ownership and usage rights. On his part, C also wanted to do business with chicken eggs. He rented 5 hens and proposed to the egg buyer that he would sell eggs to them at 4 coins per egg, but he required him to pay up front for the whole year. The buyer was worried about what would happen if the chickens died, so C suggested that A and B act as guarantors and sign a contract to ensure no risks. The buyer agreed and paid C 7,300 coins. With that money, C rented an additional 73 hens. His annual income from selling eggs amounted to 73 times 365 times 5, equaling 133,225 coins. D, seeing that A, B, and C were doing well in business, proposed to them that instead of working on their own, they invest an initial capital of 500 coins in him to form a partnership. He promised not to ask for any additional investment from them and assured them that they would earn much more than they were currently earning. The 3 people agreed, and D used 2,000 dong to rent 20 chickens, find buyers, and propose they pay in advance. He received 29,200 dong for a year's worth of eggs, then rented an additional 292 chickens to start large-scale egg production. D used the 292 chickens as collateral to borrow 29,200 dong from the bank at a 1-to-1 ratio. He then rented another 292 chickens and continued egg production. It was estimated that in 1 year, D could earn 292 plus 292 multiplied by 365 times 5, which equals 1,071,275 dong. Seeing A, B, and C receive commissions, many family members also decided to invest. The above story is like a small picture of each entrepreneur. Everyone started with the same conditions and initial capital, but the results were vastly different. Everyone began with the same conditions and capital, but the final outcomes varied greatly. Success requires only 2 words: mindset. The fundamental difference between people lies in their vision and sensitivity to numbers. The essence of transactions is value exchange. The key to success is how to leverage one's value and integrate resources to bring benefits to multiple parties. Lesson 3. How business develops money. Do you think the story about the hen's eggs is impossible? In reality, there are many people around us who are like that, especially real estate developers. They have truly elevated the art of making a profit without capital to a new level. For example, the Chinese developer Evergrande is one of the leading companies in the world. Recently, it made headlines with its debt, amounting to 2.4 trillion, compared to Taiwan's GDP in 2022, which was only about 1.26 trillion. Evergrande's debt is equivalent to the GDP of an entire country over 2 years. Why did they end up in this situation? It's because of continuous borrowing, similar to the previous example of chickens. Continuously buying chickens, then mortgaging them to borrow money from the bank, buying more chickens, and borrowing more money. Did Evergrande really lose 2.4 trillion? Not only did they not lose money, but they also didn't spend a single penny, as they used land as collateral to borrow money from the bank, then bought land and other assets, continuing to take on more debt. If they can't repay the debt, they just need to file for bankruptcy. Did the bank lose 2.4 trillion? Not at all, because the money the bank lent to Evergrande was actually the deposit and borrowed money from home buyers. If the project develops smoothly, it's actually the home buyers who are at a loss of 2.4 trillion. Did the home buyers lose money? They not only lost the 2.4 trillion on the books, but the total cost of buying the house, along with the interest, amounts to 5 trillion. However, the house has been mortgaged by Evergrande, so the buyer does not have ownership rights. In the event of a dispute, the court will prioritize protecting the bank, and ultimately, the house will be auctioned off by the bank to recover the debt. What do you think? Does buying a house ensure your ownership? During the construction, Evergrande did not spend a single cent. It was the construction contractor who advanced 1.25 trillion. Did the contractor incur losses? Only partially, because they purchased materials and unpaid wages. The contractor, material suppliers, and workers shared this burden. While Evergrande's value increased, the bank earned interest, and the local government collected taxes. The painful story of home buyers will soon begin. As Lu Zhonghouse once said, if you owe the bank 100 units, it's your problem. But if you owe the bank 1 billion units, that's the bank's problem. The developer still sleeps well, smokes cigars, and buys private jets because the debt is the company's, not his personally. He does not need to suffer any losses. Thus, it's said that it's not the loan sharks you should fear, but educated loan sharks. Every developer is playing a similar script. Otherwise, how could so many real estate projects be developed simultaneously? Therefore, buying a house requires caution. Lesson 4. How to sell a comb to a monk. You may have heard the story of selling a comb to a monk. When you hear this story, you might find it amusing because monks don't have hair, so why would they need a comb? The story is about 3 comb sellers, each using a different approach to sell combs to a monk, with varying results depending on their pitch. The first comb seller approached the monk and said, "Dear sir, please buy a comb." The monk replied that he had no hair to use a comb. The seller responded, "Even though you don't have hair, you can use it to scratch your scalp. It will be refreshing and stimulate your acupressure points. Additionally, combing is a mental exercise that helps keep your mind sharp and improves memory of scriptures." The monk considered this and saw the benefits. Although not expensive, he decided to buy one. The second comb seller encountered a monk and said, "Sir, please buy a comb." The monk asked, "Why do you need a comb when you have no hair?" The seller replied, "The comb not only helps in maintaining health and keeping the mind alert but also shows respect. When you offer prayers, combing your hair is a way to present yourself neatly and show reverence to the Buddha. If you make offerings to the Buddha every day, and the disciples scratch their heads, it not only shows their sincerity but also reflects the deep respect you have for the Buddha." Hearing this, the monk thought to himself, "This is indeed true." So, he bought a comb for each of his 10 disciples. The third person with a plan met with the monk and said, "Master, please buy a comb." The monk replied that he did not need a comb because he had no hair. The person responded, "Even though you have no hair, many people come to your temple and offer their respects. The crowds are large, and if you buy combs to give to them, it will help them clear their minds, see through the gains and losses of life, and move closer to the state of Buddha. This not only shows your compassion but also aligns with your wish to save sentient beings. It is truly an immense merit." Hearing this, the monk agreed and decided to buy 1,000 combs. Friends, this story shows that nothing is impossible in this world. It is only a matter of whether you have thought of it or not. Everything depends on the person. Methods are always more numerous than difficulties. Small efforts yield small results, while large efforts bring significant rewards. Around us, there are still business models that require no capital, such as direct selling with no inventory, real estate brokerage, or insurance. Lesson 5. Spend $1,000 to feed 100,000 people. How do you use $1,000 to invite 100,000 people to a meal? In an interview at a large company, after passing the written test, only 4 candidates remain. The interviewer poses a peculiar question: how to use $1,000 to invite 100,000 people to a meal. The first candidate, upon hearing this, sees it as an impossible task, shakes his head, and replies that it is not feasible to use $1,000 to invite 100,000 people to a meal. It's a pointless endeavor. The interviewer does not comment and just looks at the next person. The second candidate thinks for a moment and then says that the question is not related to the job he is applying for, and he would prefer not to answer. The interviewer still does not provide feedback and shifts his gaze to the remaining 2 candidates. The third candidate tells the interviewer that the possibility of using $1,000 to feed 100,000 people only exists theoretically. For example, by buying a large quantity of cheap grains and cooking them into porridge, but the practical feasibility is very low. The fourth candidate confidently says that if 100,000 people actually gathered to eat together, that number of people would constitute a large flow. Simply promoting this news would attract many advertisers and sponsors. In reality, it would not even require spending money. In fact, you could potentially make money from this opportunity. In this interview, although the interviewer's question might seem unreasonable, it is actually designed to test the candidate's perspectives and ways of thinking. Lesson 6. The shovel-selling mindset. In 1847, a German named Levi Strauss, who made a living selling canvas used for making bags and tents, discovered a pressing need among miners in gold prospecting areas. Due to the strenuous work, their clothes wore out quickly. Recognizing a business opportunity, he used canvas material to produce durable pants that withstood wear and tear. These pants quickly became popular among miners, and their acceptance led to the establishment of a company specializing in jeans production, which later became a global phenomenon. The founder of this company was Levi Strauss, who is known as the father of American jeans. Meanwhile, during the gold rush, a man named Mills did not mine for gold but made money by selling shovels and other tools to the gold miners. He earned his first fortune and then opened a bank to serve the needs of the miners. He quickly became the wealthiest person in the area, in contrast to those who sought gold, many of whom even lost their lives. The first person to discover gold, James Marshall, died in poverty. This is indeed a remarkable irony. Notice how, when a restaurant or bubble tea shop becomes successful, very soon, the whole street will be filled with dozens of other restaurants or bubble tea shops, and eventually, they all fail. When a business type becomes so hot that everyone thinks they can strike gold, what you should do is not join the crowd but rather sell shovels, sell food, sell jeans. You should make money from those who are mining for gold, avoid fierce competition, and provide high-quality services, thereby creating a better opportunity for success and sustainable growth. We have summarized this principle in one sentence: those who sell shovels are still alive, while those who go prospecting for gold have often failed, similar to the recent cryptocurrency boom. Although many people have made money, many others have lost. However, one person who has definitely made money is the owner of the cryptocurrency trading platform. You may have heard of Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, who had assets worth $90 billion as of December 2023. His story is also a typical example of making money easily by being at the center of the action. Lesson 7. Learn how to draw the ocean. You must have the ability to change the order. Listen to this small story. A father wanted to find a wife for his son, but the son said he wanted to find one himself. The father said, "This girl is the daughter of Bill Gates." The son agreed. Then, the father went to Bill Gates and said that he had found a suitor for his daughter. Bill Gates replied that it was not possible because his daughter was still too young. The father then said, "This young man is the vice president of the World Bank." Bill Gates thought for a moment and agreed. Finally, the father went to the president of the World Bank and said that he wanted to introduce a vice president. The president replied that he already had too many vice presidents. The father then mentioned that the young man could be Bill Gates' son-in-law. The president agreed. In the end, the son married Bill Gates' daughter and became the president of the World Bank. Although this is just a story, it explains very well the concept of using leverage. The key point of leverage thinking is that what you want has already been achieved by someone else. You just need to find that person and see what you need to offer for them to show you the way. The essence of this is to copy the success of others. I believe you would agree that imitating proven methods is a very effective way to succeed. Consider the following story. A young woman, born after 1990, acquired a mining site worth $27 million and earned more than $20 million each year without spending a single cent of her own money. How did she do it? The mine, due to conflicts among shareholders, was up for sale at $30 million. Upon hearing this, the young woman negotiated a partnership and eventually agreed to purchase the mine for $27 million, with a $1 million deposit required up front. The remaining $26 million had to be paid within 10 days. Otherwise, if the payment wasn't made in full after 10 days, the deposit would be forfeited to the mine's owner. The mine owner agreed happily. Subsequently, this beautiful entrepreneur approached several quarry owners whose extraction permits had expired and were facing closure. She discussed with them that she had bought a mine and wanted to divide it into 4 production lines. She mentioned that they had the equipment, customers, and workers, and could take over the lines. She only required a $7 million deposit for each production line, with a 4-year contract term. During the contract period, the profits would be split, with 80% going to them and only 20% going to her. After 4 years, the deposit will be fully refunded. Faced with the risk of closing, they not only resolved the issue but also had the opportunity to earn more profit than before. The quarry owners, who were initially hesitant, were persuaded by this female entrepreneur who used a marketing trick to create a sense of scarcity. She announced that 12 people were participating in the auction and gave them only 2 hours to transfer the money, with the condition that the first to pay would win the contract. As a result, within 2 hours, she collected $28 million in deposits, then paid $26 million of the remaining amount, leaving herself with $2 million to operate. This is a classic example of integrating resources to build a platform where owners don't need to work but instead profit from the activities of others. To change your life, you need to understand how to use your advantages, leverage surrounding resources, restructure, and maximize profits. Yes, those were 7 money-making strategies used by the wealthy without needing any capital. Thank you for watching the video until the very end. We hope you found it enjoyable and gained useful information. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help our channel grow stronger. Please share this video on social media platforms so that everyone can watch and learn. Thank you for your support. Have a great day. Best regards. See you in the next video. Book summary. Wishing you success.